Hopefully this is working. I don't see anything in the group. Oh, maybe it is. I do hope this is working. I was on most of my time there. Hello everyone. This is the first and probably going to be the last live video that I ever do. It's probably going to be an unmitigated disaster. Oh no, it is working. Happy days. Excellent. Hi Matt. So, purpose of the video, just give a bit of a sort of overview of the America trip. Answer a couple of the questions that are in the Hellspawn group that Lisa put up the Q&A for. Yeah, just say hi to anyone that sort of pops on over the course of the evening. I'll probably only be on for about 15 minutes, half hour by the time I get through everything, so we'll see how it goes. How's everything with you, Matt? You all good? So before we get on with the Scares That Care trip, which was epic beyond words, we'll just go through the questions in the Hellspawn group. Hi Sabrina. So first question, how was your first visit to Five Guys Burgers in the States? I'm going to bring that up as part of the actual sort of explanation of the trip and how much I enjoyed it. Second question, Matt, hey, are you looking forward to Birmingham HorrorCon? Very much so. I'm going to be in Birmingham at the end of October for the Halloween HorrorCon. Basically, Matt Hickman was kind enough to invite me along, kind of chaperone me. Even though I've done Scares That Care in America, I've not done any English conventions yet, so he's going to sort of take care of me. He's mentioned other unspeakable things he's going to do to me as well, which if you don't see me after the end of October, please let the police know that I was last with Matt Hickman of Birmingham. You should be able to find him somewhere. But no, the horror convention itself, I know I'm going to be meeting a few of my readers and my friends, which is going to be awesome. Birmingham's fairly central to some areas, so I hope if anybody is able to get down, pop to the Birmingham Halloween HorrorCon, come and see us, come and get a signed book, come and say hello, come and get a cuddle, whatever you want to do. So yeah, Birmingham HorrorCon is going to be awesome. I hope to do a lot more in the future as I get more comfortable. Hi Joan, hi Claire, thanks for popping by. Yeah, I want to do more conventions as I grow more confident. Even though I'm sort of quite outgoing and I talk a lot of shit, I'm still quite a private person. I mean, people that met me in America might not have thought so, but I'm still quite private. So as time goes on, I want to do more, at least sort of 3 or 4 conventions a year in the UK. I'll gradually get to know the better ones. I've got Good Morning Zompok in Manchester next August, sort of a live show there, which is going to be great fun. So stop on by if you're near Manchester. Second question, when you sit down to write and your mind goes blank, how do you get the writing flowing? That's from Deb's Knock. I can't get it flowing. I cannot. Hi Tina, how are you? I cannot force the writing to flow. It only flows when it feels like flowing. My mind is like a stubborn pack mule. If it says that no words are going to come out today, the more I whip it, the more it just puts up barriers, and the more stubborn it gets and will not let anything come out. So I kind of just, I'm a victim to my own mind. When it flows, it flows, and when it doesn't, it's like a dry well, and it just will not. Hi Troy. Hello Treacle. Yeah, I can't force it. It's got to be flowing. Joan McLeod. Just for anybody that's just logged on, I'm just going through the questions quickly before I talk about the America trip. So please bear with me. When you met your friends and fans at Scares That Care, were they how you thought they would be, or did anyone totally surprise you with how they were? Everyone was awesome. Everyone was really friendly. The highlight of the trip, obviously, was meeting all of sort of my American and Canadian friends, being shot repeatedly in the face by James Wallace and his Nerf gun that seemed to go with him everywhere. Ultimately, Will Allen was the better shot on the day. He took me out several times with a well-placed Nerf bullet to the eye. Hi, Chris. How are you, buddy? Yeah, but no, I mean, the weekend itself, we were drinking into the early hours of the evening. It was great fun. Everyone was really friendly. So I couldn't have asked for a better trip to meet everyone. It was absolutely awesome. Joan McLeod, miss me? Of course I do. You were one of the highlights. Getting to sit with you for a few hours, get to know each other a bit better was awesome. Hopefully I'll get over again at some point and we can hook up and just have another little chat. How many books are there going to be in Hellspawn? In all honesty, I don't really know. When I first set out, I was envisioning maybe 8 or 10. With how the story's developed, and we're now at the end of book 5, and sort of the castle has only just been secured, and the 2-3 groups starting to sort of spread their wings a little bit. The army are forging out to find survivors. Kurt and Co. are sort of reinforcing the castle, preparing to do the raids, and Craig, Mike, and the lunatics at the prison are planning on what they're going to do. I'm not going to go into any details. You'll have to read book 5 and onwards to see. But it just keeps going, and until I get bored, until I get bored of writing, I will keep going. The one thing I won't do is I won't just keep padding and padding just for the sake of it, for extra books. If I'm not entertained by the story that I'm putting down for Kurt and all the family, it'll be a time to wrap it up. But long answer, maybe 15. But we'll see where it goes. If it goes off on another tangent like it already has, we'll see what happens. Everybody, get yourselves a cup of tea, settle in. I'm going to be here for a little while. Anya, do you have set ideas from the beginning about where your characters are going, what they will do, or where do they start living their own lives? Do they develop for you and take other paths by themselves that you didn't anticipate? Every single time. I don't plot every single moment of every single book. I've got a start point and a destination in mind. Where they choose to go on that path is entirely up to them, to be honest. The books have sort of deviated in some way from what I'd originally planned, which has sort of made them grow, and I hope that it's made them more entertaining in some ways. I find if something comes to me at certain times that I really think will be entertaining for the readers. Okay, Claire, thanks for stopping by. See you soon. No, as I say, there are certain twists that kind of happened organically that I feel added to the story overall, and I'm going to keep adding them as much as possible, keep the twists coming, keep the deaths coming. Nobody's safe. It's the Zombok after all. There's still 70 million dead to contend with in England, and it's going to start to get a bit rougher for everyone. Tracy Day, how did I start writing? Did you have the flair as a child? I did write a little bit as a kid, but I hated anything to do with learning. I wasn't a very good student when I got to sort of high school. I was a bit of an arse. Put my parents through a bit of hell, which I'll always feel guilty for. But when you're a teenager, you know best. But I was a bit of a cockwomble. So I'll always regret that. But the writing, Hellspawn started as a result of a back accident that I had a couple of years ago. I was putting a door up, and in spite of what I tell my students constantly on manual handling, I lifted and twisted and tore a muscle in my back. It was during my summer break from college anyway. Hi Ian, hi Mel. Yeah, it was during the summer break from college, so I wasn't off sick or anything, but I was bored of watching daytime telly. Hellspawn had been kicking around in my mind best part of 10 years, I would say. Just an everyday family, how they would survive through it all. Oh yeah. So I sat down, wrote the first 2 chapters, like the hook chapters around Joan and oh crikey, I can't even remember. That's bad. That's really bad. Sent it out to a couple of reader groups. I've never really sort of believed in myself, still don't, and it was nice to get some feedback from Christina and a couple of other ladies that said, you know, you're onto something here, we'd like to hear more. And obviously the tale of Christina Hargis Smith has long been written. She is now my publisher and best friend. She kicks my ass repeatedly. Yeah, my dog's just barking because my son's come home. I know. I'm actually going to have to look it up now. I know. Oh, Frank. It's just, I've got a couple of other people that I was thinking of. I don't know where Frank disappeared to. Yeah, Frank, the football hooligan. Yeah, so before the main story grew, I sort of wrote the first 2 chapters where the dead rose, and that was basically, you know, it got good feedback, and everything kind of just fell together from there. David Dougal. Private Dougal is my favourite character. Does he survive? No, you're already dead, dude. Sorry. Spoiler alert. No, you'll have to wait till book 5 and onwards to see what happens. One thing I will say is that people die all the time. It is the zombie. People are going to die. Is it hard to come up with new deaths by zombie in the books? Yeah, they're not very inventive. They basically just enjoy munching people. There's only so many ways people can be munched. An arm or a leg or a neck. I've done groin now for certain people. Anybody that's read my books will know the sort of people that I take an instant disliking to. They run the gauntlet and such. But no, as with The Walking Dead, the focus starts to turn to the people, the different groups, and how creative they become with murdering each other. The zombies are always going to take their toll on the survivors, but there's only so many bites that you can have taken out of you without it getting a little bit boring. Rebecca, Bex, when Mark approached you for treasured chests, what was your immediate reaction? Was it, oh no, not this fucking guy again? I opened the messenger from Mark, and I sort of saw, oh hi mate, you know, we're putting something together. I realised immediately that it would show up as seen on his messenger screen, so I started Googling how to undo seen notes from the bottom of Messenger. Turns out you can't once they know you've seen it. Looked into hacking just to see if I could get into his computer systems, delete the conversations, cover my tracks a little bit. Turns out that that's actually a little bit more difficult than it sounds. And after that, in the end, I kind of just said, I suppose I best write him a little story. As I say, lesson learned there. Generally, I won't open any other messages whatsoever from anyone. No, only kidding. It was a great book with loads of great people for a great cause. Cancer itself is a rotting fucktard of a disease. It's taken a heavy toll on my family. I would happily curb stomp it if it was a person, with no concern whatsoever. I would do spiteful things to cancer if I could. And in some small way, this is all of us just fighting back a little bit against it. You know, if it helps one person, my time would have been worth it. Ultimately, hopefully we'll beat it, and you know, people can stop suffering from the poxy bloody thing. Yeah, but no, as I say, I like doing anthologies. I like charity anthologies. I don't take part in more because I can't put myself under pressure, and if there's a time limit for an anthology, my mind seems to sort of get its panties in a bunch, and I kind of go a little bit weird on it. Other times, you know, I can sort of bump out a little mini story, and I think I'll probably do over the next sort of few months or year or so, just pop out a couple more like sort of outbreak or survivor stories, just to put them on the, you know, in the saved file in case anybody wants something without the pressure. And if anybody pings me a message, I'll have something hopefully sitting there. Hi Carl. Lisa Ashdown, your addition to Treasured Chests is completely different to your normal style of writing. What made you decide to write Judgment Day? The outbreak of the apocalypse has always been, for me, the most exciting part. So, like Night of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, you know, the sort of breakdown, the initial fear. I was planning at some point to write, you know, like a journal type thing of various survivor stories set in the Hellspawn world. Judgment Day was one that I'd always been planning, and when Mark sort of came to me asking for a little story, that one had already been in my mind. I knew where it was going to go and how I wanted it to play out. So ultimately, I probably will do at some point a little sort of omnibus of several survivor stories, but I don't know when that will be. It'll be when it takes my fancy. Jocelyn Egan, what comes first, the outline story or the characters? Yeah, the outline, and then I've already got sort of planned the characters for the next couple of books. Some are nice, some are vile. You haven't met them yet, you're going to meet them. But ultimately, it's how the story plays out as it grows, and then I pop the characters in where I feel it makes sense, and then it kind of grows from there and does its own thing. So outline first, and then the characters get dropped in after. Hi Lucille. Mark Moore, I have a semi-serious question. Us Brits don't do guns in the same way our US cousins do, and I know you went to a firing range. Yeah, I'll be talking about that in a minute. What are your thoughts on gun ownership in the UK? Gun ownership, it's a divisive issue. My personal opinion is, don't know, we've never had them. My friend, he does pest control, so he's got shotguns, 2.2 rifles and such that, you know, we've been out and had a play with. Ultimately, for England, you know, we've been disarmed. America has still got their arms. I wouldn't ever deign to tell the Americans how to run their culture, simply because, you know, it's in the Second Amendment, I think. You know, that's something for their culture to go through. I'd like to have guns, lots and lots of guns, because, you know, ultimately the Zombpoc will happen. And as much as it, you know, a hammer or a hatchet's going to do the job, when you start getting a few thousand coming at you, you need something a little bit more punchy. How long have you had that fake Brit accent? Yeah, ever since I was born, sadly. It's a mixture between London and Portsmouth, and we call it Mockney. So it's not quite Cockney. It's a fake London accent, and we call it Mockney. If anybody has any more questions, because that's the ones from the group, please feel free to sort of pop them in the Hellspawn Ricky Fleet group thread. But move on to the America trip now. I won't keep you much longer, everyone, because I know it's a Saturday night and you've got a million and one better things to be doing. So the flight came about, invited to Scares That Care, so I thought, why not? Let's go and do it. Haven't been to the States since I was 20 years old, 19, 20, pardon me, where we went to Disney World in Florida, which was awesome. Especially the cheesesteak subs there, phenomenal, absolutely loved them. The day of the trip came, I was up at the crack of dawn, 5 o'clock in the morning. As far as I'm concerned, there is only one 5 o'clock in the day, and that is PM, when you are starting to cook dinner. 5 o'clock in the morning is an ungodly hour that should be banned, quite frankly. I'd love to, Lucille. It just depends on finances. Definitely want to get over again. Absolutely adored it. It was brilliant fun. So taxi got me to the airport with plenty of time. The airport was empty. Got through security. Got on the plane on my own, going to a foreign country, staying with a strange lady who sort of thought my books were good. Could go well, could go bad. Got on the plane, the food was dire, and I mean dire, but it was a 7.5 hour flight and it was free, so what are you going to do? The drinks were okay, films were good, the films were pretty up to date. Haven't been on a plane for that long, 20 odd years. Midway over the Atlantic, the plane starts making a funny noise. It starts, a rattling coming from somewhere within the plane itself. And I'm thinking, if this was a car, we'd need to pull over to the side of the road and have a look under the bonnet and see what's going on. Ultimately, we didn't pull over to the side of the road because we were 35,000 feet in the air doing about 600 miles an hour. And the Atlantic Ocean's not exactly ideal for landing on, just to check the engine. I'm shitting myself, looking around, and everyone's just meh. Nobody else is gripping the armrest quite as tight as I am. Nobody else is reaching for the sick bag because of the nerves. So I kind of assumed that if we were going to die, and this was something out of the ordinary, one, the flight crew would probably be looking a little bit more worried. Two, the rest of the passengers, unless they hadn't ever flown before like me, would also be looking a bit more nervous rather than enjoying their complimentary slop that came in the microwave packets. Oh, I'm still thinking about it now. Yeah, and then we hit turbulence, which is awesome when you've eaten nothing but grotty food and the plane drops a few thousand feet over a couple of seconds, and that grotty food in your stomach jumps up into your throat and you kind of taste it again, but you really don't want to taste it again. You didn't want to taste it in the first place, but tasting it again is even worse. Yeah, I crapped myself the whole way. But ultimately I landed okay, and I made it home safely despite the turbulence and the strange rattling coming from the engine, which didn't sound healthy at all. Got picked up at the airport. Christina was wielding a Dickie Sweet poster to say hello. My future erotic writing pseudonym, Dickie Sweet. I don't think I'll ever write erotica. Just the word boobies makes me go all weird, and I don't like writing it, so I think that's probably the end of my erotica career right there. Picked me up from the airport, walked out of the delightfully air-conditioned airport, and it was like getting punched in the face with a wet, hot flannel. The humidity was unlike anything I'd ever had before. It's like being chloroformed, but with just a hot, wet flannel over your face, and you're trying to breathe, and it's like 37, 38 degrees, ridiculously hot. Christina picked me up in a black car, which she parked in the sun, which was awesome, obviously, you know, because we all know that black reflects sunlight and it doesn't get ridiculously hot. So we got in the car, took a wrong turn somewhere. She blames the English navigation, but as I had never been in the country before, I put it down to poor driving on Christina's part. I hope she doesn't see this video. We ended up going through a nice area, and then sort of bars started appearing on the windows, and then bullet holes started appearing in the side of the buildings, and then we were sort of like driving with our heads down, not stopping for red lights so that we didn't get carjacked. But it was all fun, you know. Don't get me wrong, it was exciting. I don't know where this area was, but it was slightly dangerous, but it was good fun. And then, as I say, we got to Christina's house, and the house is gorgeous, the area is gorgeous. Would love to move to the States. Realistically, though, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Maybe if I sort of ever make any money in the books, you know, I could sort of think about moving over there. I know my little girl, Jade, wants to move over there. She watches nothing but YouTube vlogs, I think it is, and they've all got their beautiful houses, and she wants a part of that. So, given the chance, she'd sell this house for us, and we'd move over there immediately. Met Gail, Christina's mother, who lives across the road. Another gorgeous house, gorgeous swimming pool, which we sort of sat down. Didn't sit down, sorry. Went for a swim a few times in. The temperature was gorgeous. It was warming up during the day, so when we climbed in, it was like a nice sort of sauna. Not sauna, spa, sorry. But yeah, you know. Then we met Jason, little Lachlan, the family. Very welcoming, you know, lovely, lovely people. Couldn't have asked for a nicer place to stay with nicer people. She showed me the sights, showed me the local area, and this goes back to Patricia's question. How was your first visit to Five Guys Burgers? We've got them in England, I think. We've got one in Bournemouth, but I'm reluctant to try it because I don't know if it can come up to the quality of the American ones. These burgers were beyond awesome. McDonald's, McSchmonald's, what a load of garbage. If you ever go to America, go to a Five Guys, get one of their burgers. Absolutely gorgeous, loved it. So you get your burger, you have it how you want. They've got all sorts of different fillings in it. I'm going to do a little competition in a minute. I know I said that I'd do some merchandise giveaway, but I might just do it in a post on the page itself. I might do just a little Q&A on in the Hellspawn group, because it's just easier, because I'm rabbiting on here and I don't want to sort of interrupt myself because I'll lose my train of thought completely. So you get your burger, and it's a nice, neat little package all wrapped up, and it's succulent and it's gorgeous. And then what they do, they get a 25 kilogram bag of spuds, chip it, fry the 25 kilos of potatoes, and then put 25 kilograms of potato chips, fries, for my American friends, in a sack. So you get your lovely burger and about 840 million fries. And these fries are good. But you've literally got half a field of potatoes sitting in your bag. And you eat a mouthful, and then 10 more mouthfuls, and you have a few more mouthfuls. And you look in the bag, and it's like Mary Poppins' sack. It just keeps on growing. I swear there's one of the waiters actually puts more chips in while you are turned away from the bag. It does not get any smaller no matter how many of these chips you eat. It was awesome. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, the quality of the burgers was beyond phenomenal. Better than anything I've ever tasted anywhere else. It was absolutely gorgeous. We went to a lovely steak restaurant. You probably saw the picture of me absolutely horrified facing down a 28-ounce cow. Basically, they kind of, you know, poor moo cow, they'd sort of like killed it and literally dipped the whole cow in the fryer, and then served the whole cow to me on this plate. Massive thing. That was absolutely gorgeous. The breakfasts, a lot of omelettes, scrambled egg, potatoes, all really nice. The food over there, I like eating crap. I'm not posh. Salads are for rabbits and people that like salad. I just like eating crap, and America would be my heaven. I would reach 35 stone within a matter of probably 6 months, and as I'm sort of waddling around over there, eating ever more of their gorgeous food, I'd probably have to be a little bit careful and make sure I ate something half decent, because the stuff over there is just lovely, really nice. Fries with tomato sauce or ketchup. We had this argument. We call it tomato sauce, which is also ketchup, but according to Christina, tomato sauce is like what we would call tomato paste. So, yeah, mayonnaise is nice. I like knocking it up with a bit of tomato sauce as well. Like oh crikey, I can't even think of the name of the stuff. Oh god, yeah, it's gone. But yeah, well, Sabrina, we say it's crap food, but it's actually really good food. I'd love to do a few of the man versus food challenges for anybody that's seen that. I used to love watching that until he sort of became really ill and nearly died from eating the stuff. Is that a warning? Maybe. That's the one. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. I'm absolutely shitting myself, Christopher. Really nervous. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, the size of the winter supermarkets, and we're used to sort of like Tesco and like Asda, Walmart and stuff, and we're used to the nice sort of small portions. We go in the sort of sweet aisle, and they don't sell sweets by the gram, 50, 100 grams. They sell it by the pound. Several pounds, in fact. Massive, great sacks of sweets. And of course I had to bring loads of those home. We literally emptied all the clothes out of my suitcase. I brought 2 t-shirts, 2 pairs of shorts over, 1 pair of boxers. Don't ask me if I washed them at all during the week. That's private information. Nobody needs to know. And we just literally packed up to 49.5 pounds of weight in signed books, merch and sweets. Candy corn, Christ, I can't even remember. But every type of American sweet we packed into this thing. It was awesome. Yeah, so, American culture itself, loved it all. We went down to the boardwalk, which is just down the road in New Jersey. Really fun place. Went on a few rides with Lachlan. He made me a bit ill because he made me go on a little whirly ride, and my tummy didn't like it very much. But he was a trooper. He held my hand. He got me through it. No, I bet you weren't, Jordan. Jordan's my son, by the way. What was the ones that you really liked? Airheads? Or was that Tyler or Jade? Don't know. But the sweets are awesome. Then it was the day of the trip. So the day of the trip, we got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, you know my opinion on 5 o'clock in the morning being an hour that should never ever be seen by anyone. You can imagine my disgust when we needed to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is an hour earlier than 5 o'clock in the morning, just in case anyone wondered about that. Pitch black outside. The one thing that did amaze me was the fact that it was still so fucking hot at 4 o'clock in the morning. Once again, you walk out of the lovely air-conditioned Christina's house and it's hot wet flannel straight over your face. You don't need to breathe. You don't need to not sweat and look really red and sweaty in front of people. They don't judge you. Got in the car. Hello, Jade.
Hi.
Got in the car. Got onto the ferry. We took a ferry for a certain portion of the trip, which was lovely. Dolphins jumping in front of us. That was really nice. And then we sort of got onto the road, and it was just hundreds of miles of American road. Saw all sorts of weird and wonderful things. We went through an area and I thought I was going to get Texas Chainsaw massacred. The houses kind of had that. You know, there are people chained in the basement having their faces removed for one of the members of the family. There were a few instances like that. We saw a few chicken farms, and these things are mahoosive and they stink. Not quite as worrying as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre houses, though. They were quite disturbing. We didn't even have a gun to carry. You know, it's America. Why wouldn't we have a gun in the car? Or several. Hey. Got to the convention centre and it's bedlam. Everyone's unloading, everyone's unpacking, everyone's getting set up. And it turned into 3 days of awesomeness with awesome people, awesome drinks, awesome food. As I say, I met so many people. James Dean, Eric Shellman, Greg Farrell, did I say Chris Philbrook, Jeffrey Clare, Shannon Walters, James Wallace, the Allen brothers, let me think, David Simpson, Karen Ziegel, she was manning Christy Thornborough's stall, so that was quite sad. Jade, stop trying to make me laugh. Yeah, it would have been lovely to meet Christy, bless her, but you know, the sort of sad news that happened prevented that. And loads of other people. Almost forgot to mention the road trip itself was with Christina's friend Mark. He is a sassy bitch, who I'm now proud to call friend. He's hilarious. We had a great time. He slept naked in one of the beds. It was quite awkward, but he claims that he wasn't. But he was drunk. But he says he wasn't, but he was. So yeah, the people, quite an eclectic mix of horror aficionados. Some of the costumes were beyond awesome. The little girl that was dressed up as oh God, I'm just trying to think of the name of the girl in The Ring. No, gone again. I know one of you will be able to tell me what it is. Yeah, she was dressed up like the girl from The Ring, the one that sort of does a creepy sort of like crawl out of a TV and floods water all over your nice laminate flooring. You know, thanks for that. You know, lovely polished wooden floor. Just flood it. Yeah, she was. You know, these psychotic demon entities don't. Yeah, Samara, that's it. Yeah, they don't have any concern. You know, if it's a carpet, you're never going to get the smell out. You know, the stinking well water. Thanks, Samara, bitch. So we got set up. One of the highlights, obviously, was sort of karaoke with Shellman, and then Jeffrey Clare proposed to Shannon live on the stage in front of everyone there. That was awesome. sitting down with Tina and Joan, Megan. Too many to remember, in a video because my mind goes blank. But that was really nice, just getting to know everyone. As I say, it was an absolute privilege to be sort of taken over and actually get the chance to sit down with everyone, just have a little chat, shoot the breeze. Sort of, we're all Facebook friends, and I value each and every one of you. But it's nice to actually put the actual face-to-face meet in place, so that we actually do know each other. And obviously the rest of you guys in the UK, I hope to eventually get round and see everyone there as well. So yeah, as I was saying, sort of 2.5 days of the convention. It was ridiculously hot. Somebody set off a fire alarm on one day. Christina panicked that I would leave the cash roll and the iPad in the room, but being tight as I am, I would have literally carried everything of value out of that building, even if I was on fire, especially cash. That was coming with me. Even if I've got to knock a few other people out of the way to save the wallet's getting out of there in one piece. Then we came home, a long drive home. Once again, dodged the Texas Chainsaw Massacre houses. I made it back in one piece. It might just be that they didn't want to wear my face, which is a bit insulting. It's not good for the self-esteem. But, in another way, it's better not to have your face cut off by sort of strange inbred people in shanty houses. But no, as I say, an absolutely great time at the convention itself. Jay Wilburn, Armin Ross Amelia, loads of other people. I'm sorry if I sort of forget your names, but it was awesome to meet you all. Yeah, Joan done a massive drive-by all weekend and stole me millions of wristbands, which have been sent out, which is awesome. They're thankful for that. Hi, Jocelyn. Then we got back and it was just a nice couple of relaxing days. Went to the range for the second time, so we get onto the firing range now. My sum total of firearms experience is air rifles, shotguns, and one go on a 2.2 rifle with the little baby bullets. Jason and Christina took me down to the firing range, and let's think, we had a 9mm, a 40, a 45, a 38 revolver with Magnum rounds, AR-15, and there were others. So, walked in, I'm British, we know how to do this sort of stuff. I've seen it on TV plenty. So I sort of walked up, gun sideways, as you see in the movies, hold it sideways to get a better aim. You can look down the sight a little bit easier when it's sideways. And then, the recoil. In Hollywood, they're sort of popping away. But when you actually fire sort of larger caliber bullets, the gun kind of jumps in your hand a little bit. But it was a great time. Absolutely loved it, every minute of it. The Jason, the sneaky sneakerton, he added Magnum rounds interspersed with the other 5 rounds of ammunition in the revolver. So I'm quite happily popping away, and all of a sudden I nearly brained myself with a Magnum recoil. So thanks for that, Jason. I will get you back one day. I don't know how, but I will. Favourite gun was the revolver and the 40. Yeah, I think the 40. The AR-15. I know that with all the stuff that's going on, it's all, not good with guns at the moment because of all the bloody shootings and horrible stuff that goes on. But just for the experience, it was really, really good fun. Just to pop a few dozen shots off with an assault rifle. In a way, it kind of helps you writing a little bit, because without knowing about it, I've had to rely on sort of family members that are in the forces. A few of my cousins are in the army, and they've given me some sort of tips and information. I need to sort of liaise with them a little bit more just to get a bit more information from them. But you actually experience what it's really like to hold, fire a gun, the safety element of it, and the power that's in your hand. It's quite scary. Not even a shotgun really sort of prepares you for having a pistol in your hand. Just this little thing, and pop, 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 and things can go really bad. So that was really good fun. And then what else did we do? We've done a lot of signing stuff just to get things ready. So anyone in America, anything signed that they need is already ready to go. And then it was time to come home, sadly. Flight again was nerve-wracking. You're kind of like strapped in to a chair 35,000 feet in the air with thousands of litres of highly combustible aviation fuel, and then the engine starts making funny noises and you kind of drop around as the turbulence hits. It was quite nerve-wracking, but I got back in one piece, otherwise I wouldn't be speaking to you now. So all in all, the America trip was absolutely phenomenal. Loved every minute of it. Would dearly love to go again. With any luck, be nice to take the family on the next one. Just take them over there. State of play on... is there any other questions anybody would like to ask? Otherwise I'll just do a quick wrap up of where we are and what's coming in the future, and we'll take it from there. I'll leave anything in the comments. Working on Infernal 2. A few twists in the story of Malachi and his battle against Hell's Legions. Some of it slightly upsetting. It's for those that haven't read it. It's obviously, it involves demons, and these things, they want to hurt you horribly. Zombies can't help it, but demons want to. So with any luck, I've started a new job, so the writing's not going as fast as I'd like it to. Time scale, hopefully by Christmas it'll be ready to go up to betas with a Christmas or early New Year release for Infernal 2. Then I've got to make a decision on whether I go for Hellspawn 6 or I do the first in my next, everyone's groaning now, my next series, which is like a sort of like futuristic mutant series, which I've got some really mental ideas for, and it's kind of calling to me. Ultimately I'll probably try and move on with Hellspawn a little bit more, simply because that's what sort of got me a little bit more well known, and people want that a bit more. So in the future I want to do a few more conventions, get out and meet a few more people, sort of learn to advertise a little bit better. I don't like advertising, I don't like spamming groups, I don't like pushing myself. I kind of feel I'm inconveniencing people, so I tend not to do it. But Christina's taken on an amazing lady who's hopefully going to help us with the marketing side of things, and we can get a little bit more exposure. How do you manage work-life writing balance? With great difficulty. I'm lucky that my children are a little bit older now. My oldest is 17, nearly 18. My middle boy Tyler, he's nearly 16, and Jade's nearly 13 now. God help me. Any advice is greatly appreciated for a teenage daughter. Burying bodies of spotty oiks would also help. If anybody knows of any decent shafts in the local area that won't be found, let me know. And going back to the gun question again, when the spotty little oiks start turning up, I do want firearms in the house. Either A, to scare them away, or B, to execute them for coming near my angel. And that leads me back to the mine shafts that nobody will ever find. So PM me if you have any information on that. In case the police are watching, I am joking. Or am I? Joe McLeod, Mark was hilarious. Yes, he was. He is a sassy bitch, and it was awesome spending 3 days with him. He's a very funny guy. Should have smuggled a gun back from the States. Well, I did. I managed to bring loads of bullet casings back. Woohoo! All sorts of calibers, and these are all ones that I've shot. And you've got, oh, who'd have thought a plastic bag was that difficult to open? You got rifle ammunition, so that's the AR-15. You got the revolver. You got the 45, all signed. You've got the 40. So, yeah, I'm going to do some prizes with that. And that about wraps it up. There's probably other stuff that I forgot for the America trip, but when you've got a camera pointing at you and you're already crapping yourself, things kind of get forgotten. So I will pop just a little competition in the group. Sorry I didn't do the giveaway on the video itself, but I kind of just got myself into a rhythm. So if there aren't any other questions, I will bid you a good night. Have a great rest of the weekend, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for joining me. Take care.